What if I told you that the most expensive home ever built hasn't been constructed yet? That somewhere between now and 2050, an architect is going to design something so extraordinary, so impossible looking, that people will travel from across the world just to stand in front of it. Today, I used AI to design exactly that. This is a realistic concept for the most expensive private residence on Earth, built for the year 2050. No fantasy, no science fiction. Every single feature you are about to see is based on real architectural trends, real materials, and real technology that is already in development today. Stay until the end, because the final exterior feature is something I genuinely did not expect. Before we get into the details, let me give you the full picture. This property sits on 12 acres of private coastal land. The main structure is 85,000 square feet spread across 4 connected wings. The exterior facade uses 3 materials that don't exist at scale today, but will by 2050. Self-cleaning electrochromic glass, bioconcrete grown from living organisms, and a carbon-negative titanium alloy developed for aerospace use. The estimated construction cost, in today's money, $500 million. But here's what makes this different from every other luxury concept you've seen. This home was designed to be alive. Every surface responds to the environment around it. The building literally changes throughout the day. Let me show you what I mean. The first thing you notice is the facade. From a distance, it looks like one continuous surface. Glass and stone flowing together without visible joints or seams. That's because the outer skin of this building is a single integrated system. The electrochromic glass panels can shift from completely transparent to fully opaque in under 3 seconds. In the morning, they're crystal clear, flooding every room with natural light. By afternoon, they've adjusted to block heat without losing the view. But look closer. Between those glass panels, running vertically for the full 60-foot height of the building, are living walls. Not decorative plants, actual engineered ecosystems. Drought-resistant plants bred specifically for vertical architecture, with root systems embedded in a ceramic substrate that's part of the building's water recycling network. This building doesn't just sit on the land, it breathes with it. The main entrance is set back 40 feet from the facade, approached through a shallow reflection pool that runs the full 200-foot width of the front face. The water in that pool isn't decorative either. It's part of the building's thermal regulation system, absorbing heat during the day and releasing it at night. At night, the entire facade transforms. Embedded micro-LEDs in the bioconcrete create a soft luminescence that has no visible light source. The building itself appears to glow from within. Now, let's go up. The roofline of this property is where the architecture gets genuinely extraordinary. Traditional luxury homes treat the roof as dead space. This design treats it as a 5th facade. As important as any of the 4 walls, the roof is divided into 5 distinct zones, each with a different function, and together they make this building almost entirely energy self-sufficient. Zone 1 is the solar harvest field, but not the flat panels you're thinking of. These are perovskite solar tiles, indistinguishable from high-end stone at ground level, capable of converting over 40% of sunlight into electricity. That's nearly double the efficiency of today's best solar technology. Zone 2 is the Sky Garden, a full acre of landscaped rooftop green space, including mature trees up to 25 feet tall, made possible by structural soil technology borrowed from bridge engineering. This isn't a garden on a roof. It is a garden that is the roof. Zone 3 is the atmospheric water harvesting array, a system of mesh collectors that pull moisture directly from the air. In a coastal environment, this system can generate up to 2,000 liters of clean water per day. This home produces its own water. Zone 4 is the private observation platform, 8,000 square feet of cantilevered deck extending 30 feet beyond the building's footprint, suspended over the edge of the property with unobstructed 270-degree views. And Zone 5, the one people always ask about, is the private aviation pad. Not a helipad, a vertical takeoff and landing platform sized for the autonomous air vehicles that will replace helicopters by the time this home is built. The building itself is only part of the story. The grounds are where this property becomes something else entirely. The perimeter of the 12-acre estate is defined not by walls or fences, but by a continuous water feature. A shallow channel, never more than 18 inches deep, that runs the full boundary of the property. It creates a psychological separation from the outside world without blocking the view, and it feeds a network of underground cisterns that supply the estate's irrigation system. The approach road, the driveway, if you want to call it that, is 800 meters long, lined on both sides by trees that were selected by algorithm for their canopy shape, seasonal color, and the specific pattern of filtered light they create at different times of year. The experience of arriving at this property was designed the same way a film director designs a scene. The motor court at the end of that approach can accommodate 40 vehicles simultaneously. Below it, a 3-level underground garage houses up to 80 cars in a climate-controlled, automated retrieval system. You don't park here. You hand off your car to a system that parks it for you. On the eastern side of the property, the formal grounds give way to a private nature reserve. 4 acres of deliberately rewilded land, managed to support local bird and insect populations. This isn't landscaping, it's habitat restoration. And it's how a building in 2050 demonstrates that it belongs to the land rather than simply occupying it. Now, I want to spend a moment on what this property looks like after dark, because this is the detail that I think is the most extraordinary thing about this entire design. Most luxury homes are lit at night. This one becomes something different at night. The electrochromic glass, which spent the day being transparent, shifts as the sun goes down. By full dark, the exterior panels have reached a deep amber tint, warm, golden, impossibly rich. Combined with the micro-LED luminescence in the bioconcrete, the building at night looks less like a house and more like something between architecture and art installation. The reflection pool doubles every light source. The living walls, which absorb sunlight all day, release a faint bioluminescent glow from engineered plant species, a phenomenon currently only seen in nature, replicated here through synthetic biology. The rooftop sky garden is illuminated by fiber optic lighting threaded through the planting beds, creating a constellation effect visible from below. And the cantilevered observation deck, those 30 feet of structure hanging over the edge of the property, is lit from beneath by a continuous strip of light that traces its perimeter. From a boat on the water, from a mile away at sea, this single element makes the building look like it is floating above the earth. I have looked at a lot of architectural concepts. I have not seen anything that does what this does at night. Now, I promised you at the beginning that the final exterior feature was something I didn't expect. Here it is. The southern face of this building, the side that faces the water, is not a wall. It is a waterfall. A 60-foot curtain of water flows continuously down the full height of the building's south face, fed by the rooftop atmospheric harvesting system and the estate's natural water collection. It runs 24 hours a day. The sound of it is audible from anywhere on the property. At the base, the water collects in a basin that feeds back into the irrigation network. Nothing is wasted. Behind that waterfall, the glass panels of the south facade are fully visible. At night, with the building illuminated from within, the waterfall becomes a screen. The interior light refracting through the moving water into something that has no architectural equivalent I can describe. This is not decoration. This is engineering. This is what happens when the people designing the most expensive building on Earth stop asking what looks impressive and start asking what is actually worth building. That question, what is actually worth building, is the one that I think will define luxury architecture in 2050. Not size, not cost, not exclusivity, but whether the thing you built deserved to exist. That is the most expensive home of 2050. A realistic AI concept built on real technology, real materials, and real architectural direction. Every visual in this video was generated using AI. Every feature described is based on technology currently in development. None of this is fantasy. If you want to see the interior, the living spaces, the underground levels, the private spa, the home theater built into the cliff face, comment interior below, and I will make that video next. Like this video if you live here, subscribe if you want to see what else 2050 looks like. I'll see you in the next one.